Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry for the long break. I played in a chess tournament and I was helping several of my students also get ready for the chess tournament. And now I get to show you games from that tournament. This is a very instructive game. I played in the first round against someone rated in the mid-1500s USCF, and my opponent started with e4. I played c5, Sicilian defense. My opponent plays knight f3, usually preparing this, but there are other ideas as well. I played knight c6, and my opponent plays still the most popular move, pawn d4. Of course, you can also play the Rossolimo with bishop b5, but d4 the most common move, and of course I took, and white of course took back. Now black has many options here. Black can play knight f6 attacking the pawn, which a lot of the time will turn into the Sveshnikov. Black can do this, pawn g6, with the idea to transpose into the accelerated dragon, but I played the third main move, pawn e5, which is the Kalashnikov. Yes, it does say the Lowenfeld, but this, in fact, is the Kalashnikov. Now, the main move for white by far is knight b5, with the idea to go to d6, and then black plays d6, and the game continues. But my opponent, whom I played previously, decided to try something else, because previously he tried this, and it didn't work, so he thought that he would try something else. The problem is, this does not pose any problems for black, and I continued with the most logical move, knight f6, putting pressure on the pawn, might defend, but now I can put more pressure, bishop b4, pinning this knight with the idea to take back. And already it's a little bit uncomfortable for white. White played the most logical move, but it's not the best move. White played bishop d3. And now I played a fine move, but again, it's not best. Best is simply to take and damage white pawns, and then in the long run, I'm going to be playing against the pawn structure. I decided to play d5, which is more than fine, but it's actually not the best continuation. The logic, of course, is I'm threatening to take, I'm threatening to push. My opponent took. I took back with a knight. Queen takes is an interesting option, and I have a very good queen. Of course, the knight is pinned, so it cannot take me. I could also take here first and then take, which probably makes even more sense. And the logic again is takes, takes. I take here, and the logic is black has a much better pawn structure. In the game, though, I took back with the knight, which again is fine. I'm putting pressure here, but white has a very interesting option here where he can just castle, sacrificing this. And the logic is, let's see, if I take, I could take here, and yes, I'm up a pawn, but white has a lead in development. White has two bishops. Idea rook, like rook b1, that's a good rook. Now my bishop cannot move. This bishop can move out in various directions, and white has very, very, very active pieces here. But my opponent was too worried. Maybe he did not consider it, but he played the most natural move. He played bishop d2, and now I can simply damage white's pawns. I took with the knight. My opponent took back. I took. And black is just better because material is even, but white has this unpleasant pawn structure, and I have a pawn majority on the king side. I castle, and my opponent decided to play very aggressively. He wants to do a Greek gift, which currently does not work, because my queen covers this square. So he plays h4. If I'm not careful, he might be able to pull something like this off. Bishop takes, knight here, queen h5, and this might get somewhat unpleasant. I play h6, simply controlling this square, stopping any ideas of sacrifice. He played queen e2, because he had the dream of playing queen e4 and checkmate. I played queen a5. Computer wants me to play bishop g4. The pawn of queen a5, I'm simply attacking this pawn. And my opponent played a very crazy move. He defended this pawn, but he did it in a very strange fashion. He played king d2. The problem with this move is now his king is in the middle, and these lines to the king are open. Computer wants me to play rook d8. I play bishop e6. The idea is to connect the rooks. This one might go here. I'm not afraid of queen e4 because of things like pawn f5. My opponent played rook e1. Triple attacking this pawn. I have two defenders, but I have better ideas here. I played rook ac8 because I have a dream of connecting to the square. And taking this pawn is not recommended. Computer says just kind of improve your position with queen e3. But my opponent decided to get greedy and took on e5. The problem with this, of course, is I will not take back. There is a reason behind rook c8, which is now knight d4, attacks the queen, but also reveals the rook. So knight d4 it happens. My opponent saves the queen. One move checkmate is threatened, but of course I can take with check. If he goes here or here, I'll take the rook with check. So he moved to e3, but now of course this bishop is pinned, so I can take. Now the king has several squares. In the game he moved to f3. I thought f4 was the most interesting try. Because this is being double attacked. After king e2, I can bring my knight back with check, and then I can deal with this threat. King f3 I thought was not very good. King f4 is the most challenging move. After which I would have to play f5 immediately. And yeah, much better, but there is still some game left. He plays king f3, which is not great. I played f5 first. I need to stop the checkmate. Now this queen is a little bit stuck in what it can do. In the game he played queen e2, which is just utterly terrible. I play knight d4 fork, and it's game over. He played on, but there is no point in showing you this. Interesting game. Key idea to remember if you ever play Sicilian Kalashnikov and your opponent plays pawn e5, you want to go knight b5. Also remember this idea of bringing the knight here and putting pressure with the bishop. It could be kind of useful. I hope you enjoyed this video. I plan to post a lot more videos soon. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and I will be back soon. Thank you.